She crashed through his roof, walked through an impenetrable energy field, and announced he was her chosen mate. Now they have 14 days to prove their bond or face certain death. The morning sun cast long shadows across the abandoned research facility as Dr. Alex Chen stepped out of his transport shuttle. The place looked like a ghost town, with equipment scattered around and half-finished experiments left behind by the previous team. He pulled his jacket tighter against the cold wind and grabbed his gear bag. Alex had been looking forward to this assignment for months. As a scientist who studied alien life forms, he rarely got the chance to work with real alien technology. Most of his career involved looking at samples through microscopes or reading reports from other researchers. But this time was different. This time, he would be the first person to examine mysterious artifacts that had been discovered deep underground. The Roar facility's main lab was enormous, filled with strange machines and computers that hummed quietly in the dim light. In the center of the room sat a collection of objects unlike anything Alex had ever seen. They were smooth and curved, made of a material that seemed to shift colors depending on how the light hit them. Some were small enough to hold in his hand, while others were as tall as he was. Alex set up his equipment carefully, following every safety protocol he had learned during his years of training. He started with simple scans, taking pictures and measurements of each artifact. Everything seemed normal at first. The objects were definitely not made by humans, but they appeared harmless enough. Hours passed as Alex worked methodically through his checklist. He was so focused on his research that he didn't notice the small device in his hand beginning to glow. When he finally looked down, it was pulsing with a soft blue light that seemed to match the rhythm of his heartbeat. The moment he touched the glowing surface, everything changed. A wall of energy erupted from the device, expanding outward like a soap bubble made of lightning. Alex jumped backward, but he wasn't fast enough. The energy field swept past him, through him, and kept growing until it filled the entire lab. When it finally stopped expanding, Alex found himself trapped inside a dome of crackling blue electricity. He ran to the nearest wall and pressed his hands against the energy barrier. It felt solid as concrete, but buzzed with power that made his teeth ache. He tried pushing harder, but the field wouldn't budge. He grabbed tools from his equipment bag and tried everything he could think of, but nothing worked. The barrier was impenetrable. Panic started to set in as Alex realized the gravity of his situation. He was completely alone, trapped in an alien prison with no way to call for help. The facility's communication system was outside the energy field, and his personal radio couldn't penetrate the barrier. He had enough food and water for maybe a week, but after that, Alex tried to stay calm and think like a scientist. He studied the energy field, taking notes and measurements. The barrier seemed to be powered by the same technology as the artifacts, but understanding how it worked was another matter entirely. The alien science was far beyond anything humans had developed. 3 days passed in lonely frustration. Alex had tried everything he could think of to break free, but the energy field remained as strong as ever. He was starting to ration his food more carefully and wondered if anyone would even know to look for him when he failed to report back. Then, on the 4th day, everything changed again. Alex was examining one of the larger artifacts when he heard a sound that made his blood freeze. It was a deep rumbling noise like thunder, but it was coming from above. He looked up through the facility's glass roof just in time to see a massive object crash through the building. The impact shook the entire structure. Broken glass and twisted metal rained down around the energy barrier, but Alex was protected, inside his prison. Through the smoke and debris, he saw something that made his heart race with a mixture of terror and amazement. It was a spacecraft, but not like any human ship he had ever seen. The hull was sleek and organic-looking, covered in what appeared to be living metal that moved and shifted like water. Steam hissed from damaged sections and strange lights flickered along its surface. A section of the ship's hull suddenly split open with a wet, tearing sound. Alex pressed himself against the far side of the energy barrier as a figure emerged from the wreckage. At first glance, he thought it might be human, but as the smoke cleared, he realized how wrong he was. She was tall and athletic, with pale blue skin that seemed to glow in the dim light. Her hair was white as snow and flowed down her back like liquid silver. She wore some kind of form-fitting armor that looked both advanced and battle-worn. But what really caught Alex's attention were her eyes. They were large and bright yellow, like a cat's eyes, and they were looking right at him. The alien woman moved with fluid grace as she examined her surroundings. She seemed uninjured despite the violent crash, and her movement suggested she was a warrior of some kind. When she noticed the energy barrier surrounding Alex, she walked toward it with confident steps. Alex backed away instinctively, his mind racing. First contact with an alien species was supposed to happen under controlled conditions, with teams of diplomats and scientists. He wasn't prepared for this. He wasn't prepared for her. The alien woman placed her hand against the energy barrier, and something unexpected happened. Instead of being repelled like Alex had been, her hand passed through the field as if it weren't there. She stepped inside his prison without any effort at all. Alex opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. He had studied alien languages and communication theory for years, but facing a real alien left him speechless. The woman looked him up and down with those piercing yellow eyes, and then she did something that shocked him even more. She smiled and spoke in perfect English. "Hello, little human," she said, her voice carrying a strange accent that made every word sound like music. "My name is Zara, and it appears we are going to be spending some time together." Alex finally found his voice. "How do you know my language? And how did you get through the barrier?" Zara's smile widened, showing teeth that were slightly sharper than human teeth. "Your species is not as unknown to us as you might think. As for the barrier, it is old technology from my people. It responds to Karathi biology." She gestured around the energy dome. "This is what you humans would call a containment field. It was designed by my ancestors long ago." "Your ancestors?" Alex repeated, trying to process this information. "These artifacts are from your species?" "They are indeed. And now, according to the laws of my people, you and I are bound together." Zara's expression grew more serious. "The containment field has trapped us both. In Karathi culture, when two individuals share captivity and face danger together, they become chosen mates by right of survival." Alex felt his face grow hot. "Mates? What do you mean, mates? I don't understand." Zara tilted her head, studying him with those unsettling yellow eyes. "It means, little human, that you are now my partner, my equal, my—" She paused, searching for the right word. "Husband in your terms." "But that's impossible," Alex protested. "We just met. I don't know anything about you or your culture." "Knowledge comes with time," Zara replied calmly. "What matters is that fate has brought us together in this place. The old technology has chosen us for each other. To refuse this bond would be a great dishonor to both our families." Alex looked around the energy barrier that now seemed smaller with both of them inside it. "This is insane. I'm a scientist, not a mate or husband or whatever you want to call it. There has to be a way to shut this thing off and get out of here." Zara's expression hardened slightly. "You speak as if being chosen as my mate is some terrible fate. Among my people, I am considered quite a prize. I am a warrior of the highest rank, skilled in combat and strategy. Many males have sought my attention." "I'm sure they have," Alex said quickly, not wanting to offend her. "I didn't mean to insult you. It's just that this is all very sudden and confusing. In human culture, we usually get to know someone before we consider them as a life partner." Zara mused, walking around the perimeter of their prison. "Perhaps your customs have some merit. Very well. We shall use our time here to learn about each other. But make no mistake, human Alex Chen, the bond has been formed. The containment field will not release us until we accept our fate." "How do you know my name?" Alex asked, surprised. Zara pointed to his identification badge. "Your people are not very secretive with their information. Also, I may have been observing your species for longer than you realize." Before Alex could ask what she meant by that, Zara began examining the artifacts with the casual familiarity of someone who understood their purpose. She touched several of them, causing them to light up and respond in ways that Alex's scientific instruments never could. "This containment system is very old," she said, running her fingers along the surface of the largest artifact. "It was built during the time of the Great Trials. when my people tested the worthiness of potential leaders and their chosen partners. Great trials? Alex asked, his scientific curiosity overcoming his shock. Ancient ceremonies designed to prove that two individuals could work together in perfect harmony. Only those who could demonstrate complete trust and cooperation were allowed to lead our people. The energy barrier had been their prison for 3 days now, and Alex was starting to understand just how different Zara really was. She didn't sleep like humans did. Instead, she would sit perfectly still for a few hours each night, her eyes closed but her breathing steady and alert. When she opened her eyes, she was instantly awake and ready for action. "Your people are very fragile," Zara observed on the morning of their 4th day together. She watched Alex stretch his sore muscles and rub his tired eyes. 8 hours of unconsciousness every day makes you vulnerable to attack. Alex yawned and reached for one of his remaining food packets. "We call it sleep, and it's necessary for our health. Don't your people need rest?" "We do, but not like this. A true warrior must always be ready." Zara demonstrated by dropping into a fighting stance so quickly that Alex barely saw her move. "If we are to survive whatever trials await us, you must become stronger." "I'm a scientist, not a warrior," Alex protested. "I solve problems with my brain, not my fists." Zara's yellow eyes flashed with something that might have been amusement. "Your brain is indeed your strength, little human, but your body carries your brain. If your body fails, your mind fails with it." She was right, and Alex knew it. The energy barrier had contracted twice more since that first day, each time giving them less space to move around. At this rate, they would be crushed within 2 weeks. Physical fitness might be the difference between life and death. "Fine," Alex said, setting down his breakfast. "What do you want me to do?" For the next several hours, Zara put Alex through the most intense physical training of his life. She taught him how to fall without hurting himself, how to move efficiently in small spaces, and basic self-defense techniques that didn't require years of practice to learn. "Your species has potential," she admitted, as Alex collapsed on the floor, breathing heavily. "You learn quickly when properly motivated." During their rest breaks, Alex shared what he knew about the containment system. He had been studying the artifacts carefully, taking notes and making sketches. While he couldn't understand the alien technology completely, he was beginning to see patterns in how it responded to different stimuli. "The field reacts to our emotions," Alex explained, showing Zara his observations. "When we argue or get angry, it contracts faster. When we work together calmly, it stays stable." Zara studied his notes with interest. "Your scientific methods have value. I had not noticed this pattern, but you are correct." She looked thoughtful. "Among my people, the ancient trials were said to test not just cooperation, but harmony of spirit." "Harmony of spirit?" Alex asked. "What does that mean exactly?" "It means thinking and feeling as one person, even though you are two," Zara explained. "Perfect trust, perfect understanding, perfect—" She paused, searching for the right word. "Partnership." Alex felt his cheeks grow warm. The way she said partnership made it sound much more intimate than he was comfortable with. "And if we can achieve this harmony, the barrier will release us, so the old stories say. But Alex Chen, I must tell you something important." Zara's expression grew serious. "I did not crash here by accident. I was fleeing from my own people." This was news to Alex. Fleeing? Why? Zara began to pace within their small prison, her movements graceful despite the confined space. "I am not just any warrior. I am heir to one of the most powerful military houses in our society. My family arranged for me to marry a male named Commander Thek, a cruel leader who wanted to use my family's reputation for his own political gain." "So you ran away from home to avoid an arranged marriage?" Alex asked. "It is more complicated than that. If I had simply refused the marriage, it would have brought shame to my family and possibly started a war between our houses. By disappearing, I allowed my family to claim I was killed in battle. This preserves their honor and prevents the marriage without direct insult to Thek." Alex was beginning to understand. But now you're trapped here with me, and according to your laws, we're already married anyway. Zara nodded. The irony is not lost on me. I fled one unwanted bond only to find myself in another. She looked at Alex carefully. Though I must admit, you are proving to be far more honorable than the mate my family chose for me. Their conversation was interrupted by another contraction of the energy barrier. This time it squeezed them so tightly that they were forced to stand very close together. Alex could feel the warmth radiating from Zara's body and smell her strange, pleasant scent that reminded him of flowers and lightning storms. We need to figure this out faster, Alex said, trying not to think about how close they were standing. At this rate, we'll run out of space in less than a week. Zara placed her hand on his shoulder, and Alex felt a strange, tingling sensation where she touched him. Then we must learn to trust each other completely. Are you willing to try, little human? Alex looked into her alien eyes and saw not just determination but hope. I'm willing to try, Zara, but I need you to trust me too. My methods might seem strange to you, but they work. Very well, Zara agreed. We will combine your human science with Kyrathi wisdom. Together we will solve this puzzle. Over the next few days, Alex and Zara developed a routine that played to both their strengths. Each morning, Zara would lead Alex through physical exercises that improved his strength and flexibility. In return, Alex taught Zara about human scientific methods, showing her how to observe and record data systematically. The energy barrier continued to contract, but more slowly now. Alex's theory about emotional harmony seemed to be correct. The more they worked together without conflict, the more stable their prison became. Your people have interesting customs, Zara observed as Alex prepared their evening meal. He had been sharing his packaged food with her, even though it meant his supplies would run out faster. You show kindness to someone who is essentially a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore, Alex replied, handing her half of his food packet. We've been living together for over a week. I know you talk in your sleep. You hate the taste of human nutrition bars, and you have a small scar on your left hand that you got during your first battle. Zara looked surprised. You have been observing me very carefully. It's what scientists do. We observe and learn. Alex sat down beside her, no longer feeling awkward about their forced closeness. I also know you're not as tough as you pretend to be. Sometimes when you think I'm not looking, you get this sad expression on your face. For a moment, Zara's warrior mask slipped, and Alex saw vulnerability in her eyes. I miss my family, she admitted quietly. I had a younger brother who looked up to me. He must think I am dead now. Alex felt his heart ache for her. Without thinking, he reached over and took her hand. I'm sorry. That must be incredibly difficult. Zara stared at their joined hands in surprise. Your people touch each other for comfort, not just for mating purposes. Of course, Alex said. Physical contact is important for human emotional health. Friends and family members touch each other all the time. He paused. Don't your people do the same? Kyrathi are more reserved in our affections. Touch is considered very intimate, shared only between true mates or very close family members. Zara looked at Alex with new understanding. Your casual touches, the way you share your food, your concern for my feelings. In my culture, these are the behaviors of a devoted partner. Alex felt his face grow hot. I didn't know. I was just trying to be kind. I know, Zara said softly. That is what makes it so remarkable. You show me care and consideration without expecting anything in return. This is not common among males of my species. Their conversation was interrupted by a strange humming sound from the artifacts around them. Several of the devices had begun to glow more brightly, and the energy barrier flickered like a dying light bulb. Something's changing, Alex said, pulling out his notebook to record the phenomenon. Zara stood and moved to examine the largest artifact. When she placed her hand on its surface, it pulsed with brilliant light that seemed to synchronize with her heartbeat. Alex, come here, touch this with me. Alex joined her at the artifact. When they both placed their hands on its surface together, something amazing happened. The device projected a holographic image above their heads, showing two figures that looked remarkably like Alex and Zara. "It's reading us somehow," Alex whispered in awe. "Scanning our biological signatures, maybe our neural patterns too." The holographic figures moved closer together, and as they did, the energy barrier around Alex and Zara began to pulse in rhythm with their breathing. Alex could feel Zara's heartbeat through the artifact, strong and steady, and somehow he knew she could feel his too. "This is it," Zara breathed. "This is the harmony the old stories spoke of. We must synchronize completely, not just our actions, but our very life forces." Alex felt a moment of panic. This was far beyond anything his scientific training had prepared him for. But then he looked at Zara's face, saw the trust and hope there, and felt his fear fade away. "Tell me what to do," he said. "Close your eyes and breathe with me. Match my rhythm exactly." Zara's voice was gentle now, almost hypnotic. "Feel my heartbeat through the artifact and let yours align with mine." Alex did as she instructed. At first it was difficult to focus with the energy barrier crackling around them and the alien technology humming beneath their hands. But gradually, he began to sense Zara's presence in a way he had never experienced before. Their breathing synchronized first, then their heartbeats. Alex could feel Zara's calm strength flowing through the connection, while she seemed to draw from his analytical mind and steady determination. For the first time since they had been trapped together, they truly felt like partners. The energy barrier began to expand, giving them more room to move. The artifacts around them glowed brighter, and Alex realized they were on the verge of a breakthrough that would change both their lives forever. Alex woke up to the sound of distant engines rumbling through the facility's broken walls. He had been dreaming of Earth, of his small apartment and his quiet laboratory, where the biggest danger was a paper cut from a research file. Now he opened, his eyes to see Zara already alert, her head tilted as she listened to the approaching sounds. "Ships," she said quietly. "Multiple vessels, coming from different directions." Alex sat up quickly, his heart racing. "Rescue ships?" Someone finally realized I was missing. Zara's expression was grim. "Perhaps, but I also recognize the engine signature of Kirathi military vessels. It seems both our people have found us." Over the past 2 weeks, Alex and Zara had made incredible progress with the ancient containment system. They had learned to synchronize, their heartbeats and breathing almost perfectly, causing the energy barrier to expand back to its original size. The alien artifacts responded to their combined presence now, showing them holographic displays that seemed to be some kind of instructional program, but they still hadn't figured out how to shut the system down completely. "What does this mean?" Alex asked, pulling on his jacket as the sound of landing shuttles grew louder. "It means our time of peaceful cooperation may be coming to an end," Zara replied. "My people will demand that I return home to face the consequences of my disappearance. Yours will want to take you back to safety and study what has happened here." Alex felt a strange pang in his chest at the thought of leaving Zara behind. Over the past 2 weeks, they had become true partners in every sense. She had taught him to be stronger and more confident, while he had shown her the value of patience and careful observation. More than that, he had grown to care about her deeply. "There has to be another way," Alex said. "We've proven that humans and Kirathi can work together. Maybe this could be the start of something bigger." Before Zara could respond, voices echoed through the facility. Alex recognized the language as English and felt relief flood through him. But the relief was quickly replaced by tension as he heard Zara hiss under her breath. She was listening to different voices speaking in her own language, and whatever they were saying clearly upset her. "Commander Thek is with them," she whispered. "The male I was supposed to marry. He has convinced my family that I am still alive and has come to claim me." Alex's stomach dropped. Can he do that? Even after everything we've been through? He can try. Kirathi law is complicated when it comes to bonding rights. Our connection through the containment system creates a legitimate claim, but Thek will argue that you are not worthy to be my mate because you are not Kirathi. The sound of footsteps grew closer, and Alex could see lights moving through the broken sections of the facility. Soon they would be found. Zara, Alex said urgently, I need you to know something. These past 2 weeks being trapped here with you, it's been the most real I've ever felt in my entire life. I know we're from different worlds, literally, but I don't want this to end. Zara's yellow eyes softened, and she reached for his hand. Alex Chen, you have shown me what it means to have a true partner. Someone who sees my strength but also accepts my weaknesses. Among my people, such connections are rare and precious. Their moment was interrupted by the arrival of the rescue teams. Human soldiers in environmental suits approached the energy barrier cautiously, while Karathi warriors in gleaming armor took positions on the opposite side. Alex could see his supervisor, Dr. Rodriguez, among the humans, her face filled with relief and concern. But it was the Karathi commander who commanded attention. He was tall and imposing, with the same pale blue skin as Zara, but none of her grace or warmth. His armor was decorated with symbols that suggested high rank, and his expression was one of cold authority. Zara Velthara, the commander called out in accented English. You will deactivate this primitive human technology and come with me, immediately. Your family has mourned your loss long enough. Commander Thek, Zara replied, her voice steady but filled with barely controlled anger. I am bound by ancient law to my chosen mate. You have no claim over me. Thek laughed harshly. This weak human is not your mate. He is barely worthy to be your servant. The bonding you claim is meaningless because he lacks the strength to complete the trials. Alex felt anger surge through him. He might not be a warrior like Thek, but he had survived 2 weeks in an alien prison and learned to synchronize his very life force with Zara's. He was tired of being dismissed as weak. Maybe you should let the ancient technology decide who's worthy, Alex called out, surprising everyone, including himself. The artifacts around them began to glow brighter in response to his emotional state. Zara squeezed his hand and he felt her strength flowing through their connection. The human speaks truth, Zara declared. Let the trial system judge between my current mate and the one chosen by politics. Thek's face twisted with rage. You would trust alien technology over the wisdom of your own people? This technology belongs to my people, Zara replied. It was created by our ancestors to ensure that only the most compatible partners could lead together. If you believe yourself, more worthy than Alex, prove it. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut as the 2 groups of rescuers realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward to speak with Alex, but he held up his hand. I know this is crazy, Alex said to his supervisor, but I need to see this through. Zara and I have discovered something important here, something that could change everything between our species. The largest artifact suddenly projected a new holographic display, showing 3 figures instead of 2. The implications were clear. The ancient system was prepared to test Thek's claim against Alex's established bond with Zara. Very well, Thek snarled. I accept this challenge. But know this, human. When I prove my superiority, I will take great pleasure in showing you the fate of those who dare to steal what belongs to Karathi nobility. Alex looked at Zara, saw the trust and love in her eyes, and made his decision. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. The ancient trial system activated with a sound like singing crystal. The energy barrier around Alex and Zara expanded to include Commander Thek, while new barriers formed around the rescue teams to keep them safe, but allow them to observe. The facility's damaged walls repaired themselves through some impossible technology, and the air itself seemed to shimmer with power. Alex had spent 2 weeks learning to work with this alien technology, but now it was operating at a level he had never seen before. Holographic displays surrounded them, showing symbols and patterns that seemed to shift and change based on the emotions and intentions of the 3 people trapped within. The trial of worthiness has 3 phases, Zara explained quickly as the symbols stabilized into something resembling instructions. First, physical capability. Second, mental compatibility. Third, spiritual harmony. Thek smiled coldly. Excellent. I will enjoy demonstrating my superiority in all 3 areas. The first trial began immediately. The floor beneath their feet transformed into an obstacle course that tested agility, strength, and endurance. Alex's heart sank as he watched Thek move through the challenges with the fluid grace of a born warrior. The Kirathi commander was faster, stronger, and more skilled in combat than Alex could ever hope to be. But as Alex struggled through his own version of the course, he noticed something interesting. The holographic displays were measuring more than just physical performance. They were tracking heart rate, stress levels, and something else that looked suspiciously like emotional state. While Thek completed his course with impressive speed and efficiency, his displays showed high levels of aggression and dominance-seeking behavior. Alex's readings were different. Despite being slower and less physically capable, his displays showed determination, cooperation, and something the system seemed to value highly: selflessness. When the physical trial ended, Alex had barely passed, while Thek had achieved near-perfect scores. But Zara looked at the detailed readings and smiled slightly. The ancestors valued different things than modern Kirathi, she murmured to Alex. Strength matters, but not the way Thek believes. The second trial was mental. The three of them were presented with complex puzzles that required logic, creativity, and intuition to solve. This was Alex's strength, and he threw himself into the challenges with enthusiasm. But to his surprise, the puzzles were designed for two people working together. Thek struggled with this concept. He was used to commanding others, not collaborating with them. When the system paired him with Zara for several problems, he kept trying to take control and solve everything himself. Zara, following the trial rules, had to remain passive and let him lead. When it was Alex's turn to work with Zara, the difference was immediate. They had spent 2 weeks learning each other's thoughts and methods. Alex would start a sequence and Zara would complete it. Intuitively, she would spot patterns that he missed, while he provided the analytical framework to make sense of what they found. Their scores in the mental trial were remarkably high, while Thek's partnership scores were disappointingly low. Alex could see the Kirathi commander growing more frustrated and angry with each failed collaboration. This system is flawed, Thek declared. It favors the weak over the strong, confusion over clarity. The system favors harmony over domination, Zara replied. Perhaps that is why you struggle with it. The final trial was spiritual harmony, the same synchronization that Alex and Zara had been practicing for 2 weeks. They had to demonstrate perfect coordination of heart rate, breathing, and brain activity while performing complex tasks together. For Alex and Zara, this was almost easy now. They moved as one person, anticipated each other's actions, and completed every challenge with smooth efficiency. The holographic displays showed their biological rhythms in perfect alignment, too, individuals functioning as a single unit. Thek was paired with a holographic simulation of an ideal Kirathi partner, but even with technological assistance, he couldn't achieve the same level of harmony. His need to dominate and control interfered with the synchronization process. The more frustrated he became, the worse his performance got. When the trials ended, the ancient system projected its verdict for everyone to see. Alex and Zara's compatibility rating was nearly perfect, while Thek's scores showed him to be fundamentally unsuited for true partnership. The Kirathi commander stared at the results in disbelief. This cannot be correct. I am a decorated warrior, a leader of my people. This human is nothing. The ancestors disagreed, Zara said quietly, and I agree with them. The energy barriers dissolved, allowing the rescue teams to approach. Dr. Rodriguez rushed to Alex's side, followed by several other human scientists who were fascinated by what they had witnessed. Alex, are you all right? What happened here? The energy readings we detected were off the charts, Dr. Rodriguez said rapidly. I'm fine, Alex replied, though he kept hold of Zara's hand. Better than fine, actually. Dr. Rodriguez, I'd like you to meet Zara Velthara, my partner and the first official Kirathi human diplomatic contact. The Kirathi delegation approached more cautiously. Alex could see they were torn between respect for the ancient trial system and shock at its results. An older Kirathi female, wearing armor similar to Zara's but with additional decorations, stepped forward. I am General Velthara, Zara's mother, she said in careful English. The trial system has spoken clearly. The ancient laws must be respected. She looked at Thek with cold disapproval. Commander, you will return to the capital and explain to the council how you lost a formal challenge to a human. Thek's face was twisted with rage and humiliation, but he could not argue with the trial results. As his shuttle departed, Alex felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Over the following months, Alex and Zara became the first official human Karathi diplomatic team. The research facility was rebuilt as a joint operation, where scientists and warriors from both species worked together to understand the ancient technology. Alex had never imagined that being trapped in an alien prison could lead to finding his perfect partner and helping establish peaceful relations between two worlds. But as he watched Zara demonstrate Karathi fighting techniques to a group of fascinated human researchers, he realized that sometimes the best things in life came from the most unexpected circumstances. No regrets? Zara asked him later as they stood together watching the sunset through the facility's repaired windows. None at all, Alex replied, squeezing her hand. Though I have to admit, this isn't exactly what I expected when I signed up to study alien artifacts. Zara's laughter was like music, and Alex knew that whatever challenges awaited them in their new roles as ambassadors between worlds, they would face them together, in perfect harmony.